plus Boeing 767 Cpat review of power plant indications. The primary power plant display is the upper ICAS, which shows N1 and EGT. The secondary displays are on the lower ICAS and show N2, fuel flow, oil pressure, oil temperature, oil quantity, and vibration. The secondary indications show when display receives power or when secondary engine parameters are exceeded. Cyan arrows display in the lower left of the upper ICAS when engine data is on the lower ICAS. If arrows display with no engine data visible, select the status switch to allow compacted format on the upper display. Normal range for values is in white, caution ranges are in amber. If the EGT reaches max continuous limit, pointer dial and digital gauge turn amber. The takeoff and go around, the amber is inhibited for 5 minutes, 10 minutes if single engine. If the parameter reaches the red line limit, the pointer and digital readout both turn red. After N1 EGT or N2 reach a red limit, the max value displays in white below in a boxed readout. It can be blanked by using the max indicate reset button on the ICAS display select counter. If one CRT fails, data is displayed in compact format on the other screen. N1 and EGT displays are the same. All others are in digital format. If the lower ICAS is blanked or is on status and an exceedance occurs, the lower ICAS engine indications will display. Note, flight crews will not blank vibration during takeoff. Reverser indications. With reversers, the reverser indication appears above the N1. Thrust mode, target bug, and thrust reference are blank. Amber indicates reversers are in transit. Green indicates they're fully deployed. On the N1 gauge, there's an amber line inside the alt that indicates the max thrust available with the thrust levers pull forward. It's calculated by the EEC, alternately by the FMC. It indicates the protection provided by the EEC. The N1 reference target bug shows max thrust set by auto throttles for the current thrust reference. It's green when calculated by the TMC, and magenta when it's calculated by the FMC with VNAV engaged. Command sector is a white band to show the current position up to the selected value. Below the N1, CAI appears when engine anti-ice is operating, thermal anti-ice. EGT, white pointer and box value show EGT in degrees C. Amber band is the max continuous EGT limit. Red line is the max takeoff EGT limit. During takeoff and go around, they're inhibited for 5 minutes, 10 minutes of single engine. Red maximum start limit appears when the engine start switch is in cutoff. It remains when the switch is selected to run until the engine is in stable idle. In-flight start envelope will appear when an engine is not running in flight and fire switch is not pulled, the fuel control switch is cut off, N2 RPM is less than idle, and the primary and secondary engine ICAS are selected. It displays the required airspeed for start at various altitudes. If airspeed and altitude are not sufficient for a windmilling start, an indication of crossbleed is displayed above the N2 indication. The N2 dial has a red RPM limit. The pointer and boxed readout will display red. The fuel flow only displays white in pounds per hour times 1,000. The N2 display has fuel on command range, a magenta radial to indicate the min N2 to place the fuel control switch to on. Oil pressure display, the pointer and box value turn to amber or red as appropriate. Just to the left of the ICAS are the left and right engine oil pressure lights. These are helpful are helpful if ICAS is not available during start. On some aircraft, low oil pressure ICAS are advisory with no beeper or master caution. The oil temperature display is the same as the oil pressure, no ICAS for oil temperature, no ICAS messages for oil temperature. The oil quantity should be checked before the walk around. 17 quarts minimum dispatch with no ICAS message or alert. Vibration display shows three possible sources: N1, which may cause airframe vibration, N2, which usually does not cause airframe vibration, and broadband when the source is unknown. The standby engine indicator is a backup indicator of N1, EGT, and N2. It has max limits shown for crew reference. The display automatically appears with ICAS failures or loss of AC power with the SCI switch in auto. Or on the ground, if either ICAS has failed, selecting the status displays SEI. Thrust reverser, fan only available on the ground, limited to idle reverse when in transit, idle thrust when reverse is in transit, and the EEC controls the thrust limits. When thrust reversers are pulled aft to the interlock position, auto throttles disengage and auto speed brakes deploy. Reverse is indicated above N1, amber when it's in transit, green when it's fully deployed. If an uncommanded thrust reverser movement is sensed, auto stow applies pneumatic pressure to stow the reversers. An electromechanical lock prevents uncommanded deployment if the thrust reverser system fails. The ICAS message reverser isolation valve and reverser isolation light illuminate when a fault is detected. The lights and messages are inhibited in flight. That completes power plant indication review.